Good evening. Or if you're watching the replay, good, whatever. Let's play some music while we wait. Get some tea. Happy Tuesday night, everybody. This is your Infinity Monk coming at you live from Thousand Oaks, California, just outside of LA. Drinking some high quality green tea. Send me a comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know you can hear me. What's up, Gail? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. I would highly suggest to every human being, this is not biased whatsoever, to get yourself some good quality Taiwanese high mountain green tea in a little teapot and little cups, and you just sip it. You just sit there and you sip it, and your life changes for the better. Hello, Melody. Hugs back. Hugs through the cyberverse. What's up, April? Thank you so much for joining. How's the baby? Jill here, loud and clear. What's up, Jill? Jill is potentially the closest person geographically to me at the moment, assuming she is still in Santa Barbara. How are you, Jill? So I take this moment to enjoy my high mountain green tea. I am opening up the floodgates for questions, comments, themes. What are your edges in life, my friends? What is it that you're currently struggling with? What are you trying to figure it out? What kinds of things do you want to hear about? Let me know if you have any direction. I will, regardless, still probably end up rambling off in my own direction, but you can give me a place to begin. April, she is amazing. Thank you for the love and prayers. All went well. So happy to hear that. The celebration of life. L'chaim. Grew up in Studio City. I assume that is Jill. Some people, for some reason, it says their names. Then some people, it just says Facebook user. And I don't know what's up with StreamYard, why it does that. But here we are. So good. A God day to die. Maybe you mean it's a good day to die. I don't know that I've ever understood that quote fully. It's a good day to die. April asks for tools for anxiety. Definitely come to one of the right places for that. A good day to die. Explain yourself. Why would one write in the comments it's a good day to die? What does that mean to you, Jill? Tools for anxiety. Well, I'm going to first give you the answer that you don't want to hear. And that answer is, why are you so mad at anxiety? Why are you bullying around anxiety, huh? What has anxiety ever done to you that you're trying to get rid of anxiety? Anxiety is just trying to love you, just trying to protect you. Anxiety is just a scared part of yourself that wants some reassurance. Why? What do you have to do anything with anxiety? Just drink some tea with it. Riddle me that. If anybody remembers the old Batman movies. Grateful and complete. Didn't have to be a physical that. Gotcha. Anxiety is a good edge. I actually have something. I'm like triple tasking. I'm like pouring tea, thinking about one thing while trying to answer you. Some people would say that we cannot have our mind in two places at once. As I may have mentioned in one of these calls, you can feel all 10 of your fingers right now. Right now, take all 10 fingers and feel all 10 of your fingers at once. And realize that your mind is right now in 10 different places at once. Just think about that. Right now, your mind can be in 10 places at once. 10 places, if you're playing piano, if you're typing, not only are your fingers in 10 places at once, but each one is totally doing its thing that it knows what it's doing. So I'm just saying that we can be in multiple places at once. And I'm sure there's some pretty straightforward logical argument against what I just said, but I don't want to hear it. So, anxiety. Anxiety is something, as I mentioned, that firstly, it's just a feeling. It's a feeling that represents a perception of stress. It's a perception of that needs to protect itself, right? When we're anxious, we feel like there's danger, we have to protect. And anxiety, if you look at yourself as a bunch of parts, right? Anxiety is a function within you. It's a part of you that's trying to protect you. Anxiety elevates our stress. It's unpleasant. It's uncomfortable. Oftentimes, it actually sabotages us. It actually, if you want to perform on stage, anxiety can help you like dial in and perform, or anxiety can actually sabotage you. And now I can't speak. You're on a first date and you're anxious because it's important for you and you're excited, but also anxiety can also make you not be able to speak your truth and connect and be normal and relaxed. And so anxiety can be a friend or a foe in that sense, in the sense of accomplishing goals. But anxiety is a feeling like all feelings, and all feelings need to be felt. All feelings are asking to be seen, to be heard, to be felt, to be acknowledged. So when we feel anxiety, we can locate that anxiety in our body. Where is it in your body? And you can place your hand over that spot where you feel anxiety, and you could take some breaths. You can let out the sound. Let out the energy, whatever's in there. Just let the anxiety move through a little bit. And also we can feel grateful. Thank you. Thank you, anxiety. You're just trying to protect me. Thank you. You're a part of me that is just trying to protect me, that's trying to love me, that's trying to keep me safe. Although you're fucking things up and you're getting in my way and you're painful, actually you're trying to help me, anxiety. So thank you for trying to help me. I appreciate you for caring so much, for loving me so fiercely, that you're being so loud and anxious. Something that I like to do personally is write things down as well. Journaling, or I have like a little whiteboard in my room that I write things down, get things out of my head onto paper, get it out of my head onto paper, out of the psychic into the physical. Sometimes writing down my worries, my concerns, the themes, my to-do lists, putting things out of my head and onto paper, into the physical, sometimes lets me relax, because now instead of my body needing to hold that anchor, a piece of paper can hold that anchor and I can relax. Okay. So I'm going to say a sentence to you, and I would encourage you all to write the sentence down. Whoever can write it in the comments fastest wins. And the sentence is, Emotions are perceptions. No, wait, start again. Try that again. I'll say it even better. Emotions try, thinking about you writing this, emotions try to represent reality by creating a physical anchor. But they are not successful at representing reality. See if that makes sense to you. That when you have an emotion is attempting to represent reality, right? How you think a system, how you think something is, how you think a situation is. You will get an emotion in your body. It'll anchor itself into your body. It's trying to represent, there's a dog barking, ruh, 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 and your body tenses up, right? Because there's an emotion that is trying to represent reality that says you're in danger, right? That's the perception it's created. You're in danger. And your body tenses up to anchor that perception into your nervous system so that you can react. So it's the, hey, do something about this. There's a problem. Do something about this. See, you're feeling it. But maybe that dog is like across the street and it's on a leash. I didn't hear your dog, I promise. You know, that our emotions are attempting, they attempt. That's an important word to stick in there too. Emotions attempt to represent reality. But they're not. They're just they're creating perceptions and anchoring it in the body to make sure that we deal with it. And this is one of the difficulties that we face, is that like we have stress. You know, we humans were stressed. And I'm sure you've all heard things like this, but right, that biologically we used to, when we were stressed, fight or flight, that there's a thing, a bear, there's a thing that we need to fight or do something, right? That we have to physically utilize this body to work with. But in the modern day, a lot of the stressors are abstract. Traffic, being late. Maybe I'm going to get yelled at by my boss, and then my boss firing me makes me feel all tense and all fucked up. But it's actually, that's not the point. It's not about the boss. It's about, because then I'll get fired, and then I don't have money, and then I might not eat, and then so it's connecting back to some really basic biological things. But emotions are attempting to apprehend reality, and they anchor themselves physically, right? They're attempting to apprehend reality, and they anchor themselves in our physicality. And so now I'm sitting here with this tension in my chest, and there's not really a problem. There's not really anything for me to do. There's nothing to fight or flight against. So recognizing that is great. I think that's an amazing, important first step, is to say like, hey, okay, you're trying your best here. So I used to have really bad social anxiety, and I was afraid of being rejected. I was afraid of being abandoned. So I was afraid of being hurt. I was afraid of my own feelings of worthiness getting triggered. And when I was in the monastery, I really felt that social anxiety come up at one point. And I looked at it and I was like, what is this? Like, I need to solve this. I don't want to feel this anymore. This is horrible. What's happening? And I really just sat myself down and I focused on this feeling. I was like, what is it? Like, what's the point? What's the problem? Like, what is this feeling that I always have? And it came down to this feeling that this anxiety was trying to protect me. It was a part of me that was trying to protect me from being rejected. It was like, hey, that thing that happened to you in 6th grade? I don't want that to happen to you again, even though you're, 35 at that time or whatever, 30. So I'm going to keep protecting you from this thing that's not even there anymore. And the thing about fear is that fear is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's like, if I'm afraid of being rejected, and then I feel anxious, and then I'm not going to be like my normal, like happy, playful, relaxed self, and I'm going to be all tense and weird and like uncomfortable. People are going to feel uncomfortable around me, and then they're going to reject me. And then, whoa, my feeling was right and my perception was right. And now we've self-fulfilled that prophecy. And now we're entrenching that feeling of, see, reality is like that. See, I am like that. See, this is real. See, I'm not lovable. See, right? And it self-fulfills itself again and again and again. We are all doing this in different ways. There's this big uncovering process, and that it's a big uncovering process where we have to again and again pull back subtler and subtler layers of how we create the reality that we don't want. That's more important. Create the reality we don't want again and again. High mountain green tea. I love it. So, putting your hand on the part of your body that feels anxious is great. Breathing into that. Feeling the chest, the belly rise and fall with the hand. Feeling in that spot with your hand there, feeling safe, feeling connected, feeling comforted. And again, saying thank you for trying to protect me. I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I get it. You're trying to protect me. Thank you. I'm appreciative, and I'm going to protect myself. So then even switching to saying, hey, no, I'm going to take over that role. You can relax, right? I'm going to protect myself. I'm good, right? So starting to just take back that control, from the parts of us that are out of control. So yeah, I'm the adult here. I got it. We have to let go of being right. Yes. Amongst other things. Yes. Let me know if that helped, April. Let me know if that makes sense, if that feels good, if that's actually helpful. If anybody else here, if that was helpful, tell me what you heard from that. What landed, what didn't land, what questions you might still have rotating in that stuff. Sometimes I feel like I am so immersed in themes, and I've been reflecting on them for 20 plus years, that when I talk about them, sometimes I give these little like fractal side tangents of it, and sometimes even miss like some of the main stuff. So, because I just assume that people know what I know. So yeah, just let me know how that all landed. And the only thing about having small teapots is that they're finished too quick. It's already empty. Whew, it gets bitter. Yeah, something that I would love to talk about a little bit as well, and it's in the same vein, actually. Thanking the part of us is huge, and writing out your thoughts is a great tool. Awesome. But April, specifically placing your hands on your body, that is the point. Is feeling the place in your nervous system that is feeling it, and placing your hands on that spot, breathing, feeling that feeling in that spot is like, I'd say like 80% of it. Right. And then thanking it, and then writing it, right? That's like the moving the psychic energy away, but actually getting in touch. Because the problem with anxiety is the nervous system, right? Is that it creates pain, discomfort in your nervous system. So this is a thing we often do. We try to solve nervous system problems with thinking. It doesn't really happen that way. Nervous system problems require nervous system answers. So if we have a thing in the body, we have to connect to the body, settle the body. Yeah. But this is all stuff that I kind of wanted to talk about, right? Because, and I'm going to pose this even as a little bit of a question, right? And it's the same theme. It's, we are evolved enough to see things clearly. We are evolved enough to understand that the dog across the street barking is not actually a threat, but our body is still treating it like it is. When and how, and thinking about relationships, right? Being in relationships and friendships or relationships or family, and people say stuff and we get triggered, and we want to be like a better person, or we want to like be kind, or we want to respond and not react. And so we have all of these, higher ideals, and we try to speak calmly and make things. But at the same time, like, our body just wants to, like, punch somebody or scream obscenities at them, right? And when is the time to allow our emotions out? When is the time to say, like, you know what, I'm actually pissed off and I'm done being nice, and, like, this is not okay with me, and when is the time to, like, just breathe and shanti and, like, allow that to move on its own, allow this to move on its own, right? And I see that people that have not done any inner work and reflections, they're very reactive, and they dump all their garbage out on everyone else all the time, and that's not healthy. And there's something I notice in the spiritual community, which is the opposite, that there's a neglect for the nervous system, for our humanity, for our feelings, for our rage, for the shadow side. But that's just the parts of us that we're rejecting because we think they don't belong. And spiritual ego is a real thing, right? It's that we're identifying with spirituality. And when I was a monk, right, I had this whole set of behaviors that I was following because I thought that's what a monk is supposed to do. And I remember even one time I got mad and I said to somebody, like, what are you doing? Like, that makes me so mad. And they're like, oh, like, I didn't think monks are supposed to get mad. And it's like, I don't know how many of you had parents that were, like, told you that you're not supposed to be nice, that we have training and conditioning that represses and suppresses our emotions. Um, and it's just a question of, when and how much, and is there an actual answer, or is this like a balance that we all have to play with? It's like, I have, my skin is thick, but it's only so thick, so I can take a little bit. Like the Dalai Lama said, if there's a mosquito in the room, if it lands on him, brush it away. If it lands on him, maybe he'll give it a little blood and move it. But if it comes back a third time, you know, it's that, we can give that grace, and we give that compassion, we give that love. And then at some point it's like, all right, now there's a boundary. And that's just, for me, an interesting space, because I love things that are more like structured and like clear and quantified, and like to know how and when. I love creating strategies and stuff, and I bet there's one that could be created within that. But currently that's an area that I'm exploring in myself, is just connecting with emotions, right? And in which ways and when is it, like, about, like, letting something go, and when is it about being like, no, fuck you, like, really standing up for yourself. And you know what, if that person's gonna dump their stuff all over me, then I can dump my stuff on them too, and, like, whatever. um what does self-love mean when we're being a spiritual being, right? A lot of us in this chat that I know are caregivers, and we take care of others, and we're there for others, and we have this big heart, and we're kind, and we almost feel guilty maybe sometimes for setting boundaries. We feel guilty for not being there for others or fulfilling others' expectations. But at what point do we get to be humans too? At what point do our emotions matter? At what point are we allowed to be unreasonable? At what point are we allowed to be unreasonable too? And be like, hey, I have full permission to just be emotional right now, and that's great. And I'm fine with that. And that can be scary for us, because suddenly we're out of control. Suddenly there's no clear right and wrong. Doing violence too. Explain that comment. Because that's also something, right? So I, for instance, don't condone violence. Like, I don't think it's okay to hurt somebody else, right? We're not saying that you're allowed to hurt somebody because I feel upset, but I'm allowed to be upset. I'm allowed to express. I'm allowed to let that stuff out, right? So that's also something a lot of people don't understand. I remember once I was at the movies, and there were these girls in the front row talking, and somebody, like, yelled something from the back of the theater, but they didn't hear it. And then I heard the two people next to me, like, oh my God, can you believe it? These two people are talking, like, they don't shut up. And I just had this kind of, and I, like, looked around, and I saw other people, like, kind of were upset. They were, like, looking at the girls, but they were, like, weren't saying anything. And it was all of this, like, tension and aggression. And I just leaned over and I said, hey, could you guys just keep it down? It's hard to hear the movie. And they go, oh, sorry. Yeah. And I was like, cool, no problem. And then it was fine. And it was just this, like, funny moment where, I see that everyone is going into these camps of like getting violent and angry and aggressive, or like like quietly whispering their upsetness or just like holding it in, but like, and not wanting to like have a confrontation. And there's something, I don't know if this is like a cultural thing, but it's almost like we're afraid of each other, or like we're afraid to just have or people just haven't learned. It's like, hey, you can have these conversations in a very easy, polite, gentle way, which isn't like attacking the other person, which will create conflict, or holding it in and now you're upset. It's like there's this whole other level missing of like communication that I see that it's missing in a lot of relationships. That's something that somebody just recently asked me, they're like, if you were to write a resume, write it in 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph is, what are the things that you're the best at, that people look at you and they're like, how do you do that so well? Like, I don't even understand how you can do that so well. Right. And they said like the second paragraph is things that you don't mind doing that you can do well, but they're not your favorite. The third is things you're like not great at, but with some support you could do well. And the fourth paragraph is things you hate. And this was like they're like, send this as a resume. I was like, that's like a cool idea. But the first one, right, that communication part, I'd say that's one of those things that I feel like I'm exceptional at, for no specific reason except that I'm just choosing to be, right? It's just, so I feel that I'm pretty good at just speaking to things directly in a way that's just easy. It's not caught up in stuff. It's just like easy, straightforward communication. And I see that a lot of people seem to struggle with that in relationships and friendships and work settings and social settings, that just talking to things, talking about things. And it's just an interesting dance, and I don't know that I'm going to give any answers here in this talk. I like to sometimes like have this wisdom to share, but this is more of like just bringing the spotlight to a certain area for us right now. Right. And it's just that area of the inside versus the outside, and wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard, wanting to feel settled and at peace. And when do we deal with our own feelings? When do we deal with our own traumas? When do we own? Right. So Jill's saying owning your feelings instead of blaming. Right. So to own our feelings. And then at what point am I like, you know what? Like, and there is also a reality outside of me, and there's a thing, a situation that's going on that I need to stop or shift. Like, there's also a you in that. So that dance between owning ourselves and dealing with our own feelings and communicating those things, when to deal with them on our own, when to share about them. Yeah. So Jill says fear of being rejected or disapproved of, fear of being punished for speaking out, or truth. Great, exactly. So we're afraid of retribution. We're afraid of something coming back. So we hold it in and we get bitter and angry. My word for that is resentful. Right. So if you look at your relationships, look at the places in your relationships that you feel resentment, and understand that when you're resentful or resentment is there, it's because you did not speak something out. And if you look really closely, you'll see that there is something, if you feel resentful, there's a boundary that you're not setting, that you didn't set, or that you're not setting. There's something in there that's yours that wasn't set down. And I'm thinking of like, I'm already like thinking of ways that I'm wrong. So I'm just like going into that. I'm like, because if somebody betrays us, if we're betrayed by somebody, we're angry at them, and then we could feel resentful, like, oh, we had a great relationship and you cheated on me, right? So I'm now resentful towards you. But yeah, I think resentment, then it's about you haven't really felt the feelings around it, you haven't gone into it, you haven't let it go also. And a lot of times resentment is because we haven't set boundaries. Resentment often comes from us not setting our own boundaries. So something that I was just on a men's group call, and something that like we talked about was that ownership, and turning all of the stuff back to ourselves, right? Looking into your field, looking into your life, looking into your relationships, and just seeing what things are actually yours that you're not owning. What parts of every relationship could you be owning more that you're not owning? What feelings are you owning? If someone's doing a thing and you're judging them, why do you care? Why do you care? Why are you judging anybody? What does that mean to you? Well, they're doing this, cool, but who cares? Why does that matter to you, right? So how do we learn to turn that finger inwards for self-inquiry, self-reflection? So yeah, today it seems like I'm kind of poking at some different angles. I'm creating some thinking, some places of thinking, some thoughts. Just reading through some comments. Cool. So first, we need to be in touch with ourselves. We have to be in touch with our body, with our emotions. We have to be in touch with that. We have to know what we're feeling. We have to know what's happening inside of us first. So we have to get really good at this practice of connecting with ourselves first. Only once we're connected and we recognize and we separate out what's mine, what's not mine, what are my feelings, what happened, what triggered my feeling, are they to blame, did they do something, or is it actually just my own stuff from the past? Starting to just separate situations out, getting in touch with our feelings first, number one. And then we kind of know what to communicate moving forwards. And we know what boundaries to set, and we know kind of how to do that. And then our whole life starts transforming as we start connecting and relating with different kinds of people, because now we're clear on who I am, what I want, what I don't want, what I'm available for, etc. But it really all comes back down, first to feeling our own feelings, to learning how to take away the feeling of threats, that our feelings are threatening to us somehow. Like if I feel this feeling, I'm going to die, or like this painful feeling is painful, so I'm going to push it away. And that's just it's not helpful. It doesn't help you. It prolongs it, right? What we resist persists. So learning how to get with feelings is everything, I would say. That's the foundation of my personal practice. Every morning I wake up on a men's group call for an hour. It's a group of men lying there on their floors with their hands on their hearts and bellies, just talking about what they feel in different parts of their body and starting to release the resistances, release the triggers, release the emotions. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be in that sort of a container where we're showing up for ourselves. And as we show up for ourselves, we're showing up for our families and our relationships too. But by getting with our feelings first, taking care of ourselves. You have anxiety, taking care of your anxiety. You're angry, taking care of your anger. Thich Nhat Hanh talked a lot about this. It's like sitting with your anger like it's your inner child, right? Like honey, and you're talking to yourself here, like, honey, I know that you are sad. I know you're angry, and I love you, and I'm here for you, and I'll sit with you as long as you need me to. Right? I'm afraid. Okay, I'm here. I'm here for me. Oh, I feel that fear, and I'm here, and I'm going to just sit here with my fear and love myself until that fear knows that it's loved, until that homeostasis starts to arrive, until my resistance starts to dissolve. This is, I would say, one of the most important things that we were never taught. This would be, if I could create a curriculum for children, students, feeling feelings would be before math. Like the owner's manual for this body. Feeling feelings is everything. That's the base from where we can move forwards. So that was a lot of rambling, and I hope that some of it was useful rambling. And if any of it was not useful rambling and you're like, no, dude, you were just rambling, I fully accept that. But what that did do is start to build up a momentum and a container for our meditation. So I invite you to start to get yourself ready. I'm going to turn off my groovy music here. I miss the days where I could play music on these, but Facebook has been a bit of a jerk and bans and mutes all of my videos that have music. So I've decided to go the silent route. But if anybody feels like they want to queue up their Spotify in the background and play some nice music for themselves, they may. I actually play handpan. Maybe one day I'll do like a live handpan as I do this. I don't know how that translates virtually, but get into a position that feels comfortable. It could be sitting, could be laying down. Big hello to my mother who just joined. Mom, we're about to meditate. You came at the perfect moment. So nice to see you. So we can close our eyes. We can sit or lay down as we wish. And I invite you to just take a deep breath. And as you breathe in, imagine you're just pulling air in from 360 degrees, so all around you. Just imagining that as you breathe in, you're just pulling air from all around you. And as you breathe out, you're sending the air back in all directions. As if when you breathe in, the air is coming in through your skin on all sides. And as you breathe out, it's releasing. So getting that nervous system charged up, getting your body involved. Meditation is not meant to sit in the head. We are not brains in jars. Get that body into it. And I invite you to place your hands palm over your heart. For those of you that have been joining me for these lives, you know that this is a thing that I've been doing lately. On a bit of a kick, feeling your feelings kick. So hand over hand on the heart. And just take a moment to see what's going on in this part of your body. I invite you to try to breathe into this part of your body. And if you're not able to breathe into it, really just exacerbate the movement of what the breath could be doing. So actually lift your chest up as you breathe. So just giving some movement into that area. Feeling the warmth and the pressure, the light. This is a gentle light pressure, the gentle light pressure of your hands on this area. And just connecting with whatever you may feel in this part of your body. It is also allowed to say, I feel disconnected from this part of my body. You might feel numb. You might feel gratitude, joy. You might feel anxiety or grief. There can also be a barrel of monkeys, a bunch of different feelings, a disarray of emotions that are all bobbing like apples inside of your heart. So just allow yourself this moment to connect to whatever is available to be connected with. There is no right or wrong answers on this test. This is simply about the present moment. What is there? What are you feeling? What are you perceiving? In the physical space, anchored in to the physical space of your heart in this moment. This is not yet about healing. This is right now just about feeling. We're not fixing anything. We're just getting with. Maybe with your hands in your heart, there's parts of you that are coming to the surface to receive some of that affection. There's parts of you that maybe feel outcasted, ashamed, overwhelmed, afraid, and just giving these parts of you this moment of your attention, of your love, of your presence. It's a little known fact, but all of these emotions, they just want to be felt and seen and heard and acknowledged. They don't even always need us to do anything. Oftentimes there's nothing to do. They just want to be seen and heard. They just don't want to feel alone, floating around in the void. Maybe we can relate to that ourselves. And as that feels good, we drop the hands, hand over hand, down over the solar plexus. Allowing in the same process over the solar plexus, feeling the warmth, gentle pressure. Do I feel disconnected or connected to this part of my body? It's visual representation. It's right here, right under the ribs, just underneath the ribs, under the rib cage. And just what do I feel? What emotions are alive, have anchored themselves? Right? What emotions have anchored themselves into this part of my physicality? These emotions that are attempting to apprehend reality, that have their stories to tell, their worries, their concerns. Kind of like being your own therapist. If anyone remembers Winnie the Pooh, it's like the owl was the therapist and all the animals would come bouncing up to the owl, tell them their problems. And that's what we are. We're just holding ourselves, giving ourselves this feeling of connection, of affection, of safety, of presence, and letting all the anxious piglets, the hyperactive tigers, the depressed Eeyores come into our field to be felt, to be connected with. Our own feelings of fear, of worthiness. And moving our hands down, hand over hand, palm over the belly button area. And just feeling this spot, feeling this area, presencing this zone of our physicality. Breathing into the belly, feeling the belly rise and fall with the breath. Showing up for yourself, showing up for these parts of yourself. Connecting with the parts of yourself you would rather not connect with, because they're the ones that need it the most. I'm so sorry for abandoning you. I'm so sorry for rejecting you. I'm so sorry for treating you like you didn't matter. Connecting to the parts of us that need it the most. Sometimes I feel unloved. Sometimes I feel alone. Sometimes I feel unworthy. Sometimes I feel like I don't matter. Like I'm stuck. Like this pain will last forever. Getting in touch with the scariest feelings, the most painful feelings. Not because we're masochists, it's the other way around. It's because this is how to liberate ourselves, to release the resistance, the aversion, the fear, to own our nervous systems again. We must reclaim it. We reclaim our wholeness by integrating our parts. To integrate our parts, we must release the resistance. To release the resistance, we have to be brave. We have to be ready. We have to love ourselves fiercely enough to make this change. I invite you now to release your hands and just completely relax. For those of you still on this call in a deep process, I'm going to give you an energy healing. So just relaxing, beginning to open, beginning to connect to the space around you. Feeling the space around you. Breathing into the space around you. Just imagining that I'm projecting myself in the astral realm, that my two hands are gigantic. And there's a hand on either side of your body. So two of Seth's giant hands on either side of you. And you are in between the palms, not being touched with space, but right in the path of energy that is beginning to flow from these two hands on either side of you. Just feel this radiating heat, this warmth, this tingling, whatever it feels like to you. But just begin to receive from these two giant hands, just channeling healing energy for the good of all, connecting us to our highest potential, to love, to light, to all of those who are supporting us, who have supported us throughout all time and space, connecting us to the highest version of ourselves, connecting us to a healthy nervous system, a healthy immune system, free of sickness, free of disease, free of pain. Allowing this energy to travel wherever it is needed to go, clearing whatever needs to be cleared, mentally, emotionally, physically, in the psychic levels, in the astral levels, in our auric fields, in the many layers of aura, through our multiple chakras, through the meridians of the body, clearing, through the nervous system, our endocrine system, clearing, our lymphatic system, even allowing this energy into the organs of the body, into the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the liver, the intestines, the gallbladder, the bladder, the brain, women can receive this in their womb, men can receive this in their prostate. Areas that often are afflicted, clearing, to the biggest organ of the body, to the skin, clearing out chemicals, residues, cancer-causing carcinogens that have lodged themselves there. Into our energy field, into our auric field, cleansing, clearing, cleaning attachments, entities, cords, things from the past that have been latched onto you, disconnecting, cutting, cleaning, clearing, opening, releasing, freeing things in the present, situations, circumstances that you are struggling with. Cleaning, cutting, clearing, allowing space for those situations to find a new homeostasis, a new balance. Inviting in what is the best that could happen, inviting in the best case situation, inviting in the situations that are outside of your trauma, outside of your normal behaviors, your normal ways of thinking, inviting in all of the most positive potential for all of your life situations. What if everyone actually appreciates you? What if everyone actually loves you? What if everyone's actually trying to help you? What if money is trying to find you? What if health is right there in front of you in your body? What if success is your birthright? What if all of the most positive possible things, even those outside of your imagination, are trying to break through to your field, that are right there, just waiting for you to acknowledge, to be open to their existence, just to be open to the fact that the best case situation may happen, the best case scenario may happen, to dare to dream, to allow possibilities into our field. Why do we limit ourselves? Why are we so certain about our fear, so certain about our negativity, so certain about our pain? Letting that dissolve, allowing ourselves to be more certain about love, more certain about magic, more certain about miracles, more certain about possibilities, that things can happen differently, that things can change, being open to something new, something better, something bigger, something brighter, being open. Connecting down through the root, through our tailbone, down into the earth, through our legs, our feet, down into the earth, our toes, our heels, the soles of our feet, down into the earth, through the floor, down into the earth, connecting down into the earth. The earth is huge. We are in the field of the earth. It doesn't matter how tall, how high up you are in a building. Even if you are on the moon is still being pulled in by the earth, the gravity. The presence of the earth, the field of the earth reaches so far. We are on it. Just allowing that grounding force of the earth just to pull down whatever is dense, whatever you're done with, whatever you don't want to hold anymore. Just let it slide down into the earth. Just be done with it. Whatever that means to you, just letting it go, even if it's just your imagination. Just imagining just the heavy weights dropping off, the stones in your backpack dropping out, the heavy thoughts in your mind just sloshing out of your head into the ground. Just letting yourself melt, get pulled down heavy into the earth. The earth is about rest. The earth is about grounding. The earth is about receiving, allowing the earth to hold us as it always does. Connecting down into the earth. I like to say down to the center of the earth chakra, to the place where everything's getting pulled towards. This really dense collection of energy that is a grounding point. We are electric beings, so let's ground ourselves, connecting down to the center of the earth. And just allowing, imagining everything around us just turning into light, into lightness, into space. Just allowing for a moment, to the best of your ability, your body, your mind, to just dissolve into space. Connecting, feeling the space around you. As if I were to ask you, what is the temperature of the room? You'd suddenly start to feel into the space around you. Just feel into the space around you. And as you breathe, imagine you're breathing into that space. And as you just place your mind there, suddenly your identity will shift from the body to the space. Suddenly that space will take over the mind. As if the skin was dissolving, as if the top of the head was open, as if this is just breath floating in the sky. Letting go as much as possible, letting things be as much as possible. What if there was nothing more to do? What if the work was already done? What would it feel like if the work was already done? What would it feel like if we had it all? What would it feel like if we were healthy and well and our families were healthy and happy? What would it feel like? To be sitting in a sense of accomplishment and achievement and safety, security, to be proud, to be peaceful, to be content. What would it feel like if the world was at peace? What would it feel like if things made sense again? What would it feel like if we all felt young and vital? What would it feel like if we were surrounded by our best friends? What would it feel like if anything we wanted was right here? What would it feel like if this moment was the happiest moment of your life? What would it feel like if it was available right now? What would it feel like if there was nothing left to do? What would it feel like just to fully rest, fully relax, in a state of presence, in a state of natural gratitude? For there is always something to be grateful for we are existing and we are alive. So nothing even has to happen, just the fact that we are here, we can always have a sense of gratitude because we are alive. There's always something to be grateful for, just in the sense of our lives, of our consciousness embodied. Breathing into whatever is the most powerful, positive experience you are having right now. If it's peace, if it's calm, if it's love, if it's lightness, if it's healing, if it's energy, whatever is going on. Connecting to that. Oh, Vajrasavatsamaya, Manapalaya, Vajrasavatina Vadi, Mabawaziri, Mabawaziri, Mabawana, Mabawazari, Mabrazari, Zination, Mabawazari, Om Vajrasavatsamaya, Manapalaya, Vajrasavatina Vadi, Mabawaziri, Mabawaziri, Mabawana, Mabawazari, Mabrazari, Zination, Mabawazari, Om Vajrasavatsamaya, Manapalaya, Vajrasavatina Vadi, Mabawaziri, Mabawaziri, Mabawana, Mabawazari, Mabrazari, Zination, Changes and Jurin Buji, Monkey Ben Gigi, give me a ball yang, give me a babaja, don't it down in Buji, Monkey Ben Gigi, give me a ball yang, give me a babaja. Taking a deep breath. Connecting to that peace, that stillness. When you're ready, taking a deep breath, the deepest breath of your day so far, in through the nose, all the way down into the belly, out through the mouth. Slowly returning our consciousness, our awareness to this physical form, to the body, to this location, to the room. Slowly returning here to this place, wiggling fingers and toes, stretching out arms and legs, bringing this body back online. You can rub it, you can stretch it, you can breathe it. Just reactivating gently, slowly the body. Entering into the comments. Whatever you want to enter into the comments about your experience this evening. What a beautiful day to be alive. Just I went somewhere, she can't even remember where. Thank you, very powerful. Thank you. Refreshing. Yeah, that's right. Let's do some thunder hands. Boom. Clap your hands, rub them together. Sending that energy out to each other. Feeling connected through our palms, through our energy fields, creating a field of energy. Oh, I feel it. Creating a field of energy. Holding your hands up, creating a field of energy, palms to the center. And allowing this energy just to expand, expanding this energy into the whole room we're in, expanding it through the house, over the land. Just letting this bubble of energy grow and grow, this field of energy, until it's completely covering the earth, passing through the whole earth. that feels overwhelming, imagine the earth is shrunk down into the size of a marble in between us. That's how strong we are. So just sending healing into the entire planet, into the whole earth, to all the beings, all the people, all the animals, all the children, all the plants, and the rocks and the rivers and the oceans, just sending this energy, this love, penetrating into all dimensions of the planet, to all the beings, all the people. May all who need to receive some love and support right now. This is for you. Our love, our energy, our support are endless, are limitless, are infinite. For we are connected to Source, for we are simply channels, rivers connecting to the ocean. Take as much as you need, for we are made of this. We are love field activators. Right on, Jill. And taking your hands, then bringing them onto your own heart. Taking these hands, bringing them to your own heart, and just feeling that love, that gratitude, that connection to yourself. Thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your gifts, your presence, for being a beautiful soul here on the planet. You are so loved. You're so appreciated. And I want to say thank you from my end of all the things one could be doing with their lives. You chose to spend an hour here with me. Thank you so much for that. It was my pleasure serving you this evening. I look forward to continuing these sessions Tuesday nights. If you're watching on replay, I read all the comments, so feel free to comment below. For those of you who are joining, feel free to share this also on your wall or with other people who might be interested. Let's get the word out. This is some free healing coming at you. Anywhere that needs it, people can receive this. And it's my honor. It's my honor to be a part of this. For those interested, again, I have a Spotify channel also with about 200 talks and an audiobook that I created for free that you can receive. And if anybody feels moved to make a donation, I have my Venmo on my Facebook page, Seth-Monk-Meditation. My PayPal is SethMonkMail@gmail.com. And I hope that these vibrations stay with you for the rest of the evening. If you're going to bed now, perfect. Just letting this connection, this bigger connection, continue working in you, continue guiding you. And remember that it is always there. That these sessions, Tuesday Night Live, this is just a reminder. We're just reminding you of the truth of what you are, of how big you are, how powerful you are, of the resources that you have at your own disposal to activate whatever you want. So thank you all so much for joining. Love you guys. Have a beautiful evening. Tuesday Night Live out.